They won't see this one coming. All right, time to feed these hungry Steam Deck fans. Yeah, you. They don't take no nonsense. Hello, people. Me again. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. What? What's up, Steam Deck fans? You know the Steam Deck tribe, nation, universe, world, legion. What's good? Mob, what's happening? Squad, what's up? You nerds, geeks, and freaks, and you investigators, what's happening? Yeah. I got news for you. But you won't see this one coming, though. Anyway, what I got for you? Let's start off with this. All right. Let's see here. Pal World is Steam Deck playable and runs on desktop Linux with Proton. Yeah, Pal World. Yeah. It's for you Pokemon lovers. Anyway, it says here Pal World is a new release on Steam. Early access for Pocket Pair, a fusion of Pokemon with monsters catching, farming, building, and much more. It's Steam Deck playable and does work on desktop Linux too. No personal purchase. It says it's already proving to be a big hit too, with a current peak player of 294,826. It keeps going up every refresh on Steam and very positive user rating. So it seems like it might be the first big indie hit of 2024. So it's great news that it works right away. Yeah, you Pokemon lovers gonna love this. It says here, Valve has already put it through Deck Verified and gave it a Steam Deck playable rating. And Valve set Proton Experimental for it by default on Steam Deck. So for best experience on desktop Linux, make sure you set Proton Experimental in the property compatibility menu. And then it says for Steam Deck, the performance does have some issues, and Valve note various problems in their testing, including small text graphics needing to be configured manually. You need to manually bring up the on-screen keyboard, and functionality may not be accessible with the default controller configuration. It says an important note is that even for single player, you need an active internet connection. It was designed as a multiplayer game, clearly in many ways, with support for 4 players, co-op, and 32 players on dedicated servers. You can play solo without issues, though hopefully they eventually remove that online requirement so you can fully take it on the go. It says in my own testing on Steam Deck OLED, I've been using these settings, and it says so far this has given a somewhat acceptable performance level. It ranges from 25 to 45 FPS depending on what I'm doing, which is very playable. Most of the time above 30 FPS. Some spots in the open world I have seen bring it down to 25, especially during bigger combat session. However, one clear problem is the menu system. Some of the in-game menus bring the performance down pretty hard to around 20 FPS, but it will come back up when you close the menu. Text is definitely small too. I've had to pull the Steam Deck closer to my face to actually read some of the on-screen details, so it's quite annoying. It's going to need some text scaling quite urgently, as it's really not comfortable to read a lot of it. The icons are tiny too. So it says here for battery life on the Steam Deck, you're looking at around 2 hours for a full charge with 60 FPS frame rate. Meanwhile, desktop Linux, Kubuntu 23.10 with AMD Ryzen 5800X and Radeon 6800 XT, the experience has been overall pretty great. Testing the highest possible graphics settings, it always been above 60 FPS so far. Most of the time between 80 and 120 FPS depending on where I am in the open world and what I'm doing. And for a big open world in early access, run through Proton, that's actually pretty good. And it says here, this is the only an early preliminary test. I haven't had too long with it, so keep that in mind. It's pretty early access, so everything is subjected to change, but it can incredible promise a start of for Pal World. All right, and I will be directly see. It says one thing I will address directly, since this always comes up in comments whenever there's a new monster catching game. The elephant in the room, Nintendo. They don't and can't own the rights to an entire genre, but Pokemon is obviously popular, so there's always comparison, but Nintendo can't just go after developer of other similar games. However, in the case, plenty of the creatures do have a striking similarity to various Pokemon designs, and so even like the color flip with a few tweaks, so it will be very interesting to see what happens for this one specifically. Something else that needs noting is that the developer still has other games in early access while launching this also in early access. Craftopia, for example, looks largely similar, like they took their own game and add these creatures into it to make it a different game. To sum up what I've seen of it so far it feels very much like a blending of Ark Survival Evolved, Pokemon, and Zelda Breath of the Wild mechanically. One or two sounds even seemed like they were right out of Zelda, very close at least. It's very it's very derivative, but then so are a lot of survival games. The small humans of mine is going to freak when they see it. This is, I can definitely see why people are enjoying it so much already. I fear it's going to take over my life for a while. Pal World, yeah. On the Steam Deck version, this game will be getting some updates, so I will keep you up to date on this. Alright, now, what else we got for you Steam Deck fans? Keep the ball moving here. Push. Alright, let's see here. Might and Magic again getting another update. It says here, VMCI open source engine for Heroes of Might and Magic 3 version 1.4.3 brings a lot of bug fixes. Says here, if you want to play the classic Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the open source engine VCMI is easily the best way to on modern platform. And version 1.4.3 is out now with plenty of bug fixes. While the previous pulled in support for simultaneous turns, support for multiplayer, it came with a few issues that could be solved. In this case, it says some of the main changes include general. Fix the synchronization of the audio and video of the open movies. Fix a bug that caused spell from mods to not show up in the Make Guild. Change the default SDL driver on Windows from OpenGL to auto detection. When a hero visits a town with a garrison hero, they will now automatically exchange spell if one of them has a scholar skill. Movement and mana points are now replenished for new heroes in taverns. Multiplayer. Sim turn contact detection will now correctly check for heroes moving range. Sim turn contact detection will now ignore wandering monsters. Right click the Sim turn AI option, now display a tool tip. Interaction attempts with other players during Sim turn will now have some concise error message. Turn timer are now limited to 24 hours in order to prevent bug caused by an integer overflow. Fix delay when editing. Turns timer duration. Ending a turn during sim turn will now block interface correctly. Campaigns. Say for campaign, player will no longer start the United Front of Songs for the Father campaign with 2 Nimbuses. Fix missing campaign description after loading save games. Campaign completion checkmark will now be displayed after the entire campaign has been completed rather than just after the first scenario. Fix positioning of prologue and epilogue text during campaign scenario intros. Then it says plus a lot of bugs fixes elsewhere, and there's some modding improvement to the engine too for people to build upon it and keep expanding the game. See more in the player release notes. Check out the official site and their GitHub. It says you need the original game for the data file when you grab on GOG.com. Alright, keep moving here. Let's see, what else we got? Okay, now for the Steam Deck. Updates. Alright, what do we got? Okay. Here goes some updates for the Steam Deck. Yeah, news, deals, games, updates. The usual stuff. Anyway, says Steam Beta add explainer to Steam Deck performance menu. Plus, fix for desktop too. It says Valve has released a new beta for Steam Deck and Steam Desktop improvements, numerous bugs, and for Steam Deck makes performance menu a little easier to understand. General, update embedded Chromium build in Steam to 109.0.541.4.120. Update quick access performance menu with description for each settings, including how they affect the system and expect power/performance visual trade-off. Fix a case where the SD card was set as the default install location on reboot. Fix a case where the network status icon would fail to render for virtual networks. Fix the store button on main menu remaining disabled in family view even if store permissions were granted to account. Steam input. Fix occasional creating an extra virtual controller that is non-responsive, and shows an example here, and it says this is really great because the option names by themselves are not easy for a lot of people to understand, and this should just help make features more accessible. The menu itself also has fancy new icon, and it says general. Update embedded Chromium build to version of build in Steam to 109.0.541.4.120. Fix issues where clicking on voice chat invitation notification did not open chat. Big picture mode. Improve the display in the controller configuration tab when there are no controllers attached, or the active controller is opted out of Steam input. Remote play. Greatly improved performance when using hardware encoding with AMD video cards on Windows. Steam VR. Improved layouts and imagery for some of the dialogue that shows when launching VR games. And clicking on item in the control bar, e.g. a download in progress, will correctly switch to Steam tab. Show a reloading message when Steam VR quit before reloading the Steam window. And Steam now only reloads every 5th time that VR quits. Linux, known issues when dismissing a drop-down menu. The Steam client may incorrectly start blocking mouse input. Yeah, you Steam Deck fans are good. Alright, now, let's see here. What else we got? See if I can get through this anymore. Anything else? Let's see here. You guys are getting updates, man. A lot. It says GPU Reshape is a fancy new open source tool for developers. Okay. Says here, fresh announcement for developers today is GPU Reshape, a free and open source tool that could be really useful for game developers working with Vulkan and DirectX 12 to deal with potentially undefined behaviors. According to the post, it's a collaboration between AMD and Avalanche Studio Group, which then continues generally with Miguel Peterson of Strike and Distance Studios, Prev at Avalanche, who is the author of GPU Reshape, with help from various other developers. Great to see AMD and more game developers value open source. What is it actually for? If you're not a game developer, it's probably complicated to understand. It's not my expertise either, but I love seeing game developers toolkit like this release as open source. Peterson even clearly states in the post that Linux support is planned for it. For more games, support for Linux/Steam Deck. Well, developers need the tool too, as per blog post. Peterson explained. Says a toolkit that leverage on the fly instrumentation of GPU operation with instruction level validation of potential undefined behavior, supporting both DirectX 12 and Vulkan, a standalone desktop application with no integration, require all open source MITs, is now available in beta. And then it says here, resource bounds, validations, read, write coordinates against its bounds. Then it says export stability, numeric stability, validation of floating points export. Then it says in parentheses, UAVs, write, render targets, vertex export, close parentheses, e.g. NAN/INF. And then it says here, GPU reshape brings powerful features typical of GPU tooling to GPU, providing validation of dynamic behavior. And then it says here, currency validation, validation of resource concurrency, i.e. single producer or multiple consumer between queues and events. Resource initialization, validation of resource initialization ensures any read or proceed by write. And then it says infinite loops, detection of infinite loop experimental. And then it says there's a number of other planned addition as they hope to see it evolve into a general purpose tool, including shader debugging, providing the ability to inspect live data as the shader sees it, shader assertion and source assertion typical of CPU code, branch hotspots, live hotspot profiling of all branches, branch coherence and live coherence analysis of all branches, and more. Yeah, GPU reshape. Yeah. Well, these developers are, ever since the Unity situation, man. Yeah, open source is getting bigger. All right. Maybe the Unity was a good thing. Maybe the Unity situation was a good thing. All right. What else we got? So I can push through this. Okay, got it. Okay. I think Oh yeah, by the way, Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, Steam Deck verified. Just letting you know. Alright. It says deep survival game, vintage story, adds cave-ins, improved first person, lots more. It says here, vintage story is a brutal deep survival game that I just love to watch expand, but it's so full of content spilled over the sides. The latest release, version 1.19.0, Djank Redux bring in even more content. When it comes to content addition, there's 11 new species of deers, 11 types of goats, 11 new species of deers, 11 types of goats. You can now catch animals with a basket, antlers and horns. You can mount on a wall, a rework of ruins, new accessibility settings, snowballs, more character customization options, tools, sedge plants, overhaul first-person mode, a cave system when digging, and so much more. So this game really quite something, and pretty challenging too. Vintage storage, Djank Redux features update 1.19.0. You can find this on Humble Store, Itch.co, and Direct. Yeah. Almost done here. Alright, got two more. Let's see. Okay, Tomb Raider. Okay. Let's see here. Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remasters get Steam Deck verified. Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remastered is from Aspire Crystal Dynamics on February 14th, and now Valve has given it the green tick of approval as it is now Steam Deck verified. It was tested on the latest Valve Stable Proton release. So as long as you use that cross Steam Deck / desktop Linux, you should be good to go. With this bundle, you'll get Tomb Raider 1 unfinished business plus unfinished business, Tomb Raider 2 plus Golden Mask, and Tomb Raider 3, The Lost Artifact. Aspyr says it has upgraded graphics with options to switch to original polygon look at any time. GOG, Humble Store, Steam. Yeah, alright. Any more? I think I got one more here. And this is the last one. Yeah, get these Steam Deck fans up to date. Keep pushing here. Alright, let's see here. Exile is a new compact puzzle thriller from the director of My Friendly Neighbor. Use up for being puzzled and thrilled at the same time. In the current setting, John Szymanski, director of My Friendly Neighbor, has released a standalone version of Exile. The developer said, an experience sort of like Myst and The Room. A note has been left on her desk, taken of the ancient evil and banishment up to a different realm, the Eldritch tomb, and the untranslated scrap she's been studying act as the only clues to her disappearance. Use clues found in the book to translate an ancient language, evade lurking horror, and solve the mystery of the strange object around you. And this game is called, you can buy it on Steam, by the way. Says the original was a part of the Dread X collection too, but now you can play it standalone, and with native Linux support too. It has a few upgrades since then for this version, including voice acting, rewritten narrative, and visuals, better scarce, and so on. According to the devs, it's singularly more engaging for new players. And it says here, features: survive ancient puzzle, decode Eldritch language, and avoid the lurking horror, all while sitting at the single desk. Tense and foreboding atmosphere where the stillness of the library can be shattered at any moment. High level interactivity, multiple endings, good for single player sessions. Voiceover by Tom Skalk. Anyway, that's it, man. So yeah, you Steam Deck fans, whoops, kind of dark in here. You Steam Deck fans are covered. News, deals, games, and updates. Keep you guys up to date. So you got some games to play, some updates. Oh yeah, and enjoy your Pal World like Pokemon. Yeah, that's 298,000 people playing right now. Yeah, enjoy, man. The Steam Deck version will be getting some updates, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. But other than that, man, you guys are you're good. Yeah, news, deals, games, updates, the usual stuff. So I try to keep you guys in the loop of what's going on. So I will be dropping some videos now. I got 4 of them that I'm about to drop, and I think I'll be done for the day though. I hope. But anyway, but other than that, man, one from last night, and three today. So get that done and get it out of the way. But anyway, other than that, man, you guys keep your health and your strength in check. Priority 1. And take care of yourself. Be safe out there. And live your best life. Live life to the fullest if you want. If that way. But yeah, and continue gaming. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still Star Wars, Star Trek, or Dark Side. Go. Peace.